Alright, so let's go ahead and keep this live stream experiment train rolling. What I wanted to do on this one was, one of the things I'm trying to do is kind of ping pong back and forth between productive tips that are, sort of focused on gaming channel help, and then also things that are just fun or things that I personally enjoy about gaming, because, I want to make sure that, there's a good balance there, I guess. So, one of the things that I noticed was there were definitely more than a few games coming out in August that I completely forgot about. In fact, I didn't really consider what games I wanted to see or that were going to be coming out in August, and I just kind of assumed there was only just one really big one, and that's the one that I'm going to talk about right now, and that is Astral Chain. Maro, what's up? Yes, this is totally live. I'm about to do some really tricky stuff and potentially break the entire stream because I'm going to try to show the games that I'm most excited about. I got 6 titles today, 3 of which are not so dark, or maybe kind of dark, but it seems like everything just leads towards a very, very dark titles. I would not expect to come out until, like, I don't know, October, Halloween, right? But some of these are decidedly dark, and I would not have expected a summer release. So, we'll go ahead and start with the most obvious one that I think everyone is excited about for the Nintendo Switch in August, and that is going to be Astral Chain. So let's see if I break this or if it's going to work. Did I do everything correctly? Yes! So this is the trailer for Astral Chain. If you were completely unfamiliar, Uncle Strange, what's up, man? How are you doing? I am, just streaming trailers for games that I am personally excited for and hoping that nothing breaks, because I'm using the Stream Deck to do some tricky stuff today.
I've been waiting for you.
And see, I'm excited for Astral because of the looks, Mara, more than anything. Like, this does look like a gorgeous game, right? And the more I look at the trailer, the more detail I see. Things like rain on their costumes and everything. I guess it wouldn't be costumes, I guess they're uniforms. But the thing that concerns me about this game, well, we'll let the trailer roll for a second, because it really does look phenomenal. But that's where I'm scared. That's where I'm a little bit skeptical. Does everything look okay? Are the levels too loud one way or the other right now? I tried to even them out before I launched this, but I'm not sure. Like, it looks like such an original premise. And I have a certain affinity for sci-fi anyways. Ghost, what's up, man? I was going to get my control this month, but I had to cancel my pre-order. It seems like I can't buy games till at least 10. Dude, I'm sorry to hear that. But, on a slightly higher note, how dare you spoil one of the games I was going to reveal on this live stream? A travesty of a Marvel movie, then it's got to be Hulk or Thor the Dark World. Maybe Iron Man 2, depending on where you lean.
The Legion's survival instincts kick in to save it. No way. There's no way. What good could this possibly be?
It's a long shot, but it's
Like, I really hope this game plays as fluidly as it looks. This is one of those games that I wanted to play at E3, and they did not have a demo. I just kept seeing, like, trailers for it up everywhere. No, it's fine, Ghost. I'm just playing around. I guess I'm mostly excited because it's by Platinum, so it seemed more promising. I always forget what else Platinum's done. I know they're important, and I feel like I should know this, and yet I can't recall off the top of my head. That's going to drive me crazy now. Way off? A travesty of a Marvel movie. I will have to think about that. Yeah, so Astral Chain is coming out on the 30th of August, and I'm looking forward to it, but I'm also, here's why I'm skeptical about Astral Chain. It's not that it doesn't look great, it looks phenomenal. My fear is that it's going to try to do too many things at once and then not be exceptional at any one of them. And I don't know if that's true, like maybe I'm just, reaching on that. But I have seen games that are just like, oh, we want to try like 6 different genres in the same game, and then it doesn't really excel at any one. But I'm really hoping that's not going to be the case for Astral Chain, mainly because I'm completely dazzled by the visuals, and, I haven't done a lot of research into the story. All I know is that, like, if you've got, like, a sci-fi anime look and there's tons of action, like, that's about all you need to get me on board. That's right, I totally forgot. Yes, that's what it was, Bayonetta. And Nier Automata continues to rot on my backlog. Such a tragedy. I know, Judge, you're super disappointed in that. Judge, I'm toying. I did a stream earlier today, because I'm going to try to go back and forth between streams that are, like helpful stuff, like the tips I would normally do, and then I'm going to try to do fun stuff as well, like this, and try to ping-pong back and forth between them for 90 days to see what kind of an impact that has on your channel if you just do a hard left into the live stream format. I have no idea what's going to happen. It could be an unmitigated disaster, but, I figure I'll do the experiments so other people don't have to. That way you will know that's a stupid thing and you shouldn't do that. But right now I'm just going through about 6 games that I'm excited for in August. There are some that should get an honorable mention, but I'll talk about those at the end. For now, we'll go ahead and jump to another one that I am looking forward to. Not quite as much as Astral Chain, but there's something very special about this game that makes me more excited for it, and it has a natural progression, so I'll go ahead and fire that up now. But that game would be, well, I'll wait till the trailer starts. I don't want to spoil it. It's a Switch game. It's from Square Enix, so I'm sure you can guess what this is going to be. And yes, it's Oninaki, which I've already started, because that's the cool thing about this game, is there's a demo available right now. If you start playing it, this cool trend of Square, just like they did with Dragon Quest Builders 2, if you make progress in the demo, it's going to carry right over into the retail game, so I'm kind of excited just by that. Adrian, what's up, man? I'll be streaming until right around 6 p.m. because I'm on call tonight. I don't know if I'm going to keep streaming every night this week because I'm on call, but I have a small window where, you know, work is covered and I'm not on call until 6. But we'll see how it goes. And thank you for stopping by, Adrian. I'm not familiar with Shadowbringers. That tips live stream, be careful repeating yourself or all of your content will be the same 3 questions. Yeah, that's a good point. I should be mindful of that. And please give me feedback constantly. Looks really nice. I don't know what my gripe is. What my wait, what? Are you talking about for Oninaki? And that's the thing about this game that, you know, I do find appealing, is it does seem to have an interesting premise, as well as just, you know, enjoyable combat, which was actually really hard when I played the demo. Apparently you play a watcher, somebody who kind of watches over, or I guess you kind of guard, you know, the realm of the dead and the living and sort of maintain the balance in some way. So I think that's kind of an interesting setup. Like, the demo opens up, light spoiler, with you helping to guide a ghost to find some closure, I guess you would say. Cool, I just got off work. Awesome, man. I've decided I don't like Fire Emblem. I like tactics games, but this game is a great tactical fights with grueling hub activity in between that kills your excitement. I don't want to say you're preaching to the choir, but I'm very much considering doing a video that is similar to your thoughts and feelings about it right now, Judge. Because, you know, it's, well, I mean, I can talk about it right now. I'll try to keep focused on Oninaki, which I think shows a lot of promise. And, but the thing, it's from Tokyo RPG Factory. This is the, I guess it would be a division of Square Enix that is responsible for basically churning out the old school JRPGs that a lot of people love. Although, I would say that was met with some mixed critical success, because they also did Lost Sphere and I Am Setsuna, neither of which I played, but they looked interesting, and I'm sure hardcore RPG fans like them, but I know that they didn't fare quite as well as some more modern RPGs that have been released. And this is another game where, like, the visuals look absolutely outstanding, because it seems like some of those games, like I Am Setsuna, didn't really resonate with me graphically speaking, but this one I think looks a lot nicer. So that was Oninaki. I don't know if any of you are excited for it, but at first, like, when I first saw this or heard about it, I thought it was like it was going to be a turn-based RPG or something, but it's totally not. It's an action RPG. Linda, how are you doing today? Thank you for stopping by. I'm just playing trailers for some games that I'm looking forward to in August. I don't know if I'll buy every one of these, but they've definitely piqued my interest that, you know, if I found it on sale or if I, you know, had something to trade in or, you know, like a gift card or something, I'd be like, you know what, I think I could go for this. I don't think I'm going to buy all 6 of these titles, but yeah, that was Oninaki. You know, I would expect it will be a quality title, and the thing that kind of holds me back from buying it digitally, I don't think it's a full-price title digitally, but there is a full-price physical version, but it's not released here in the States. You have to order through PlayAsia, so it's one of those games where I'm like, am I going to love it enough to pay $60 for it to have it imported, and then even more probably with, like, shipping and taxes and everything? I'm doing pretty good, Linda. I'm experimenting with a new format, so I'm trying to just see what happens to, well, one, from a macro level, what happens to your channel if you live stream for just, like, you know, 90 days instead of doing pre-produced content. And, you know, I did a video about it this morning, a stream about it this morning, actually, not really a pre-produced video, and I have no idea what's really going to happen with it, but then, like, on a micro level, you know, it's kind of fun for me, right, to kind of experiment with, okay, normally it's like I shoot, and then I edit, and then I optimize, upload, you know, market, and do all those things, but this is a very quick, just, like, brain-to-camera sort of ordeal, so in that way, I'm kind of excited for it, and a little bit nervous, but the thing is, since I'm going to be hanging out with you at the Southeast Game Exchange, and I have to get ready to get up on stage and say something that is, you know, at least competent, I figured this would probably be good practice for that, and I got about 3 weeks to make sure I got everything sewn up, so we'll see how that goes. Jake, and what's up, man? Me gusta. Also, me gusta. I don't know what the proper response for that is. So, that was Oninaki. The next game that I'm looking forward to is one that I didn't know until about 3-4 months ago, and I think I saw it on a Nintendo Direct, and that game is, let me switch back to this so you can see the full screen trailer. rad, and it's actually not just going to be coming out to the Switch or anything. It's also coming to the PS4 and Xbox One, I believe. But this almost looks like if Diablo and Borderlands had a baby, and then they just, I don't know, kind of soaked it in some Technicolor fever dream, and obviously post-apocalyptic. But it looks like the multiplayer component could be a lot of fun for this, and this is one that I'm very seriously considering because it looks like look at it. T-Belly, what's up, man? How you doing? I'm hoping it's going to be lit, man. Again, like, I'm trying to maintain excitement for Astral Chain. I just don't want to see it, try to be a billion things and not be particularly great at any of them. Call me Jalen Morrow. Chris, what's up, man? Playing the Dragon Quest Builders 2 demos. Let me know everything you think about that. I want you to get sucked into that 100-hour adventure, Chris. But not before you play more Marvel Ultimate Alliance with me, because I need all the help I can get. Speaking of which, Jake, and we got to do that probably this week. I'm on call this week, so I'm not going to be able to do much in the evening. That's why I'm trying to slide in a quick video right now, but I would like to do more of that. I already don't like it. It looks like a phone game ported to console. Well, I think it's because they went for a cel-shaded look, and I think if you do cel-shaded, it naturally kind of has that. And for all I know, it's going to come to mobile platforms. That's the thing. There's always a draw for developers and publishers to do that, just because there's so many of those devices in the wild. But rad. I think it does look pretty rad for the most part, which it's a horrible joke, right? But ultimately, it's it looks like it has that Diablo style, which I love games like that. What was that game that I picked up on a whim? This was like a couple of months ago. But any kind of top-down perspective, and I guess you could even make an argument for Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 kind of being like that. Although I don't know if this would be like beat 'em up though. This would probably have a deeper sort of like skill tree progression, would be my guess. But anytime I see that, especially if it's got cel-shaded graphics, because ever since I first played like Jet Set Radio, like, I really like that visual style. And then any game, pretty much, that ended up having cel-shaded graphics would at least pull me in and get me interested. Borderlands did it. Oh, great, now I can't think of a single other cel-shaded game. Eternal Sonata? I think that was kind of cel-shaded. It looks sort of cartoony. Miss Chaos Retro Gaming. Hey, hit the like for you. Thank you so much, Chaos. Appreciate it. How goes your day? Torrance, how you doing, man? A stream on a Monday? I know, right? And that's, again, I did a video this morning. I'm just experimenting with the live format. Like, what would happen if I completely threw the idea of pre-produced video out the window just for a period of time, like a quarter, like a couple of months, just to see what happens to your channel's analytics, and how challenging is it to kind of maintain fun, interesting, engaging content when all you can do is live? Like, what if you can't cover your mistakes? And that's one of the chief draws for me of pre-produced stuff, is like when I screw up my delivery, I can just edit right over that, right? It's like what magic is to plot holes in the Harry Potter universe. That's what editing is for me. It looks like a poor man's Bastion. That's terrible, but I can kind of see where you're coming from. Next up, let's go ahead and we're going to get a little bit darker. And this is a game that I've intentionally steered as far away from the story as I can, just because I'm completely intrigued by its visuals and the gameplay that is on display here. And that is going to be a game that I think Chad Flowers keyed me into, because otherwise I did not know about. He was like, you hear about the game called Control? I was like, no, what's it about? And he kind of gave me a brief rundown on it, but seeing it, it looks like some horror version of something Chris Nolan would make, and that immediately had me intrigued. My god, you mad lad. What, doing the live stream only, Torrance? Is that what you mean? I disagree. Persona was cel-shaded and did not look remotely cell phone. I don't think Persona was cel-shaded. Was it? I may have to look that up. But if so, then you're right. There's a massive disconnect in terms of cel-shading from one title to another. But I mean, also, I think that they intentionally were trying to avoid realism in Rad. Linda, are those zombies? It's showing up so tiny. But yeah, like, everything about, and even here, like, because, like, I do like horror games, even though I'm a big baby about it, like, even some of these interiors, and these guns look completely ridiculous, but some of the interior shots, I mean, it gives me a real Overlook Hotel vibe, right? Like, from The Shining. And just everything, I like when, especially when horror doesn't simply rely on, like, body horror or gore to instill a sense of dread. I like when people can build that through a narrative or brilliant set design, or just creating weird things like this to sort of get your mind thinking in that direction. If you guys never saw a movie called It Follows was amazing at establishing that sort of atmosphere, and the reason was it was a more modern horror film that came out like 2014, I want to say. It's about 5 years ago now, but an amazing film. And one of the things I liked about it that I kind of get the same vibe from this game, from seeing the footage for Control, is that everything sort of made you feel uneasy. And one of the ways they did that was visually in the movie It Follows. It opened, and the main character, the girl, was actually in a she was in a bathing suit swimming in a pool, right? So you're like, oh, okay, it must be summertime. And then you cut to like 2 scenes later, and she's in like this heavy winter coat. And then on top of that, you have like her little sister is like just aimlessly watching CT on this old CRT television you would expect from like the 70s or 80s maybe. And then out of nowhere, she opens up like an e-reader clamshell thing that looks like a very modern piece of technology. So nothing about the time or setting or visually, none of that seemed to make sense. And obviously, just looking at the footage from Control, you get that same sort of vibe. So I'm pretty pumped for it on that merit alone. Jake, can go back to your Fire Emblem. I will crush Claude, yes. I'm not going to get into some big battle right now, but who's the best house in Fire Emblem? All I can say is that I'm still happy with my choice with the Golden Deer, and assuming I can go back to the game and finish it, I'm sure I will not be disappointed with how Claude's narrative plays out. So, in a good way or bad, Morrow. This is a family-friendly channel, how dare you. Next up, also, now we're going to get even darker, right? And this is a game that, first of all, I had no idea it existed until just like a month or two ago, and it just sort of came out of nowhere. And I'm like, of all the things you could do to set up a horror premise, was this really necessary? Is this really a place we needed to go? And at first I was extremely skeptical, but the more I've looked at it, the more I'm like, this probably makes better sense for a video game than the original source material that it's based off of, and that is Blair Witch. Which, ha, see what I did there? The original movie for this was, it's not the best horror movie I've ever seen by any stretch of the imagination, but at the time when it came out, like in the 90s, it was completely magical in a way, right? Because like the web really wasn't that big of a thing yet, like it was in its infancy sort of, not infancy, but in terms of mainstream appeal. And people thinking like, was this found footage real? Like there was a real, like some people I talked to actually thought like, no, it's real. Like they found this footage and something messed up happened. And, people were a little bit more gullible back then, right? You didn't have as much widespread information as you do on the modern web. And the fact that it was really kind of the first viral marketing sensation in a lot of ways when it comes to the web made it interesting on that merit alone. And even if it's not the best horror movie, they did a good job of establishing just an overwhelming sense of dread and horror on an incredibly meager budget, which is astounding. But a small budget really isn't a major consideration for modern gaming, so seeing where they're going to take this, and the fact that it's basically a direct sequel to the original Blair Witch, that's pretty interesting. Also, I love that the main character has like a green jacket on. He reminds me of James from Silent Hill 2, which I think is a nice touch. I'm sure that was intentional. She's named Pretty Peasant. I thought the original movie was brilliant, right? Exactly, Muzz. Like, I'm, again, not my favorite horror movie by a long shot, but certainly, did some interesting things. And, when it comes to the Blair Witch, it's not, because there was a sequel to Blair Witch, I want to say, sometime in the early 2000s, and it was garbage, and everybody basically just like slammed it. And I think there was a more modern release, too, that was a follow-up. I don't know if it was a remake or whatever. I didn't watch that one because I was just like, I'm sort of done with the Blair Witch. But the fact that this game basically says, okay, let's try again, but just in video game form, and continue the story right from where we left off from, well, I won't spoil. Can you spoil a movie that's that old? I don't know, but I won't. But picking up directly from the events of kind of the horror that unfolded throughout, everything that we saw in the original Blair Witch, I think that's a pretty cool thing, and I think there's a real opportunity for some, again, the same kind of heavy atmosphere you would expect from a film like that, and to really see it played out in a way that's just, claustrophobic and overwhelming and dreadful, which would be fantastic. Turbo Jesse, what's going on, man? How you doing today? This game looks terrifying, Josh. I'm hoping so. Like, I want to be loaded up with a good selection of horror titles for Halloween, which, again, like, these last two that we looked at, Blair Witch and Control, look pretty horrific, and they're coming out, like, not in the middle of summer, but still in summer. I would expect those to have released a little bit closer to October. Book of Shadows, the sequel, wasn't great. Yes, that's what it was called. I couldn't remember the subtitle for it. Chris says, I want this game. It looks fun, like an Outlast-style horror. I'm guessing they probably pulled some inspiration from Outlast. Empress, get it right, Euchre. Stitched, how you doing, man? The little documentary they did leading up to it helped a lot, too. I don't think I ever saw that. I would like to, though. I bet that's incredibly interesting, because just the fact they were to pull off such a monumental box office feat with this incredibly meager budget and just a very unique marketing strategy, like, that's the kind of stuff that really gets me going, man. I like watching, or I guess just learning about, things like that. Did you see the Luigi's Mansion 3 Steelbook? No. There's a Luigi's Mansion 3. What, are they doing a collector's edition for that, Mario? How did I miss this? That sounds amazing. Because Luigi's Mansion 3, that comes out on Halloween. I'm going to take Halloween off from work just so I can be creeped out by that all day. And then, you know, I don't think I could beat it in one go. I have no idea how long that game will be. I would imagine it's going to be somewhere in like the maybe 15-hour range, maybe a little bit long. I mean, it can't be that huge, right? I mean, it takes place... Well, that's not fair to say. I could say, like, oh, it's just a limited mansion. But I think that mansion's got like 30 floors or something crazy. And next, what's going on, man? No, you don't. You're right. I don't want any games. Brian, hello. Thank you for stopping by for the second stream of the day. Something I did not anticipate, but you know, if this continues to go well, I will try to stick to the 2-stream-a-day format, provided it doesn't get too overwhelming. I can probably do at least 1 for this 90-day experiment. 2 might be pushing it, but you know, it is only weekdays, and then weekends I'll probably do more gameplay type stuff. Too spoopy for me, Josh. Well, I've got good news for you, Torrance. It's about to get a lot spoopier. Okay. Right now, because the last game on my list actually continues that sort of horror trend that we started with Control and then to Blair Witch, but with a multiplayer twist, which I was not anticipating, and I would not have known about this game if it weren't for Daniel Brackaman. He was telling me about this, I think, on one of his streams or one of my streams, and when he mentioned it, for some reason I had no idea, but it's from the same people that did Until Dawn, and that is Man from Medan, I think is the name.
16.
But you can kind of get an idea of the single player, at least here, but it looks like they've got at least 2 or 3 different multiplayer options for the game, and I'm really curious how they're going to play with that, because people are saying it's a terrifying experience with friends, and you don't see a lot of multiplayer horror games. Not a common occurrence. Just at work, chilling, nice, man. But I'll let you judge for yourselves. Let's watch the terrifying trailer. Typical kids getting together for an adventure setup.
What do you know about this wreck? Just rumors.
Stop it.
It was insane. It was like traveling through time.
Should have never gone down to that plane in the first place.
Yeah, it is Iceman. It's Bobby.
Feedback has an essence.
Get your quantum break out of my horror game.
Everything down there alone.
I will be in the backstreet. You should get this, Mara. We should play it with Daniel. It'll be a good time. I mean, how scary can it be? It's a ghost ship. There was a ghost ship movie in the early 2000s, and it was pretty much garbage. Just laden with jump scares, which is fine. It's so terrifying. And this is what gets me right here. Wait for it.
Alex? Julia? Guys?
Ah, that freaks it. Like unnaturally big smiles are definitely like a trigger for me from a horror perspective. Like, not necessarily like the Joker big smile, but anytime you have like somebody who's smiling unnaturally, like that scene from Get Out, when she just like no, and she just keeps smiling super big, terrifying. I can't deal with stuff like that. So those are the games. I'll run through them one more time. The games that I'm most looking forward to in August. I'm not sure I'll pick every one of these up. If you said right now, like, you can only get 2 of these games, and I had to choose between Astral Chain, Oninaki, Rad, Control, Blair Witch, and Man from Medan, if I could only pick 2 of them, I would have to pick Astral Chain just because of my curiosity would get the best of me. And honestly, I think I would probably go Man from Medan. Like, I think you're going to get a better story from Blair Witch and Control from a horror perspective, but ultimately just the idea of experiencing a multiplayer horror game and seeing if that terror can be sustained even when you're playing with a buddy online, I'm real curious to see how that turns out. Also, those were the same cast that did Until Dawn, and mostly I love the work that they do, although I do think the faces look a little weird sometimes. I can't quite put my finger on it. They don't look bad, there's just something slightly off, but I guess that's most video game character models. Astral Chain, yes, YP2. I mean, I feel like I have to do it. That is scary. Oh my, it does look pretty terrible. Davy Jones. Let's see. Did you see my tweet about us playing Friday the 13th? YourPlayerTwo. I don't think I did, but I will. Hold on a second. I can bring it up now. Hold on. I see Linda liked something. Oh wait, no, she liked the one that you put out. I was looking through my old streams of okay, first off, us playing... Actually, that's weird. I'm like, there's no multiplayer horror games when clearly you're just like, we played Friday the 13th. And just a side note, if you're in this stream and you should ever feel compelled to play Friday the 13th with Adrian, not another game collector, don't. He's an absolute maniac, and he absolutely delights in your misery. It seems like every time I play, I end up being a counselor, and he gets to be Jason every time, or at least a disproportionate amount. Also, I am glad that game's coming to the Switch. Personally, I have no need to play it on the Switch. Like, I don't think I would play Friday the 13th on the go. Like, to me, that kind of betrays the sense of horror you would get from a game of that nature. But I'm glad that people who may only have the Switch, or if they've never experienced it before, will have the opportunity to do so, because bug-ridden as that game is, Friday the 13th is an absolute joy as long as you're willing to play it with friends. Hey guys, just got off my own stream. How did your stream go, man? I've got like a small window of time before I'm on call, so I got like 29 minutes to hang out and talk about games. Gamer Thumb. And just to run through them again, those games that I'm excited for in August: Astral Chain, Oninaki, Rad, Control, Control, which I learned about from Chad. The Blair Witch game, just because I want to see what kind of follow-up it does to the original, because I think that'll be very interesting. And Man from Medan for its multiplayer offerings. Scary game is Luigi's Mansion 3, 2 spoofy. Oh, that it plays so well though. Like, I don't want to keep up like, oh yeah, when I was at E3 I played Luigi's Mansion, but I did play Luigi's Mansion. It was super good. Like, the game looks amazing, and like the animation in that game is phenomenal. Like, they just nailed everything about his movement and the way he interacts with ghosts and everything. It's really, really nice. Roughly 40 to 45 people or so. Mega Man 5 and 6. Isn't one of those really expensive? I can't remember which one it is, because I think I have 4 or 5 of the Mega Mans on NES. But there was one that I was like, that's a little pricey, I'll hold off, I'll get it eventually. I agree, Mario, it is too spoopy. No, wait, you're saying that Man from Medan is too spoopy, Torrance, or are you saying that Luigi's Mansion 3 is too spoopy? Because Luigi's Mansion 3 isn't... I mean, it'll have some light jump scares, but it's so comically adorable, right? That game is going to be like playing a Pixar movie. It's going to be magical. Not if you have the Mega Man collection. Well, yeah, I was talking cartridges, but I see what yeah, you're right. I don't know. So, out of all those games, which one of those would you be most excited to play? Or is there a game I completely left off the list? Because I actually did looked up a list of some of the games that were releasing, because the only one I could really remember was like Astral Chain and Oninaki. I would say honorable mention goes to Ancestors. I'm curious about. It's a game where you play as... you're put in charge, according to this description, you're put in control of a clan of apes migrating through the wilds and seeking to expand their influence, and the game takes place over like 8 billion years? Is that right? 8 billion or 8 million? 8 million years long, which is supposed to equate to 40 to 50 hours of real-time gameplay. So, I'm curious about that, because I just want to know if you really do get to see them evolve all the way up to the present day, and how the gameplay and mechanics carry over there, and what the end game is like more than anything. Like, I'm not thrilled with the idea of the beginning, but apparently if you play this game and you're like leading this clan, if you kill your ape, then you basically respawn as another ape until you exhaust all of them. And if you kill all of them, like, the species goes extinct and it's just game over. I think it's a real permadeath sort of situation in that way. But we'll see. Still need to... I get scared really easy, but I want to at least watch someone do Blair Witch. I'll probably end up with Blair Witch. I think what I can do is I can probably talk my buddy Ben into come over to play that with me, because I like playing horror games with a buddy, right? Because, again, I'm a big sissy, and that stuff terrifies me. With a few exceptions. There are a few games that I can force myself to handle in a single-player experience with, like, all the curtains drawn and making sure it's completely dark and really getting into that horror mindset. And those would be probably... Silent Hill 2, just because I've played it so many times, and then Evil Within 2, which I enjoy, and I haven't beaten. That's one of the games that's like on my backlog that I'm like, I'm pulling you out of the backlog this October. The game's too good to not finish. It's just painful that I haven't spent more time with that title, because every minute I spent with it, I had a blast. And I think one of the first things that I noticed, I was like, this is really good, is there were some monsters like out in the middle of an intersection, and I had very scarce armaments, right? And I was like, I could try to sneak past them, but it seems risky. And I was like, is there a way around these, or is there a better way to deal with the situation? What I ended up doing was I climbed up, it was either a vine or a ladder that was like on the side of a building, and there was like a rifle up top, and I used that to deal with them from a distance, and it was so awesome. It's just like, somehow Evil Within 2 managed to craft a horror gameplay experience that is both claustrophobic and allows for improvisation, which I thought was really interesting, because most horror games are like, you're in a spooky house, you're in a spooky mansion, spooky boat, and like you have very limited camera view, scarce resources, You know, and that's kind of the things that builds most of the horror, right? It's like atmospheric, you know, like terrifying sounds and just really gross graphics and that sense that something's always around the next corner. But Evil Within 2 gives you like this wide open sort of like city to run around in. And yet you're still terrified the entire time. Even when you have a good view of everything around you, it's still scary. And I just think that's a brilliant feat of game design. I find Animal Crossing to be too scary to play in the dark. That's because Animal Crossing is a stressful abomination, Brian, okay? It was already bested by Stardew Valley. Tom Nook can be intimidating, Brian. I don't blame you. I'm gonna give Animal Crossing a shot when it comes out. I promised you, Maro, and I promised Beck that I would do it. But I don't know. Thank you for understanding, Maro. Hey, Josh, you ever play Eternal Dark? Yes, Eternal Darkness. Requiem was amazing, and I thought it did a lot of really interesting things. But I feel like I played it in close proximity to Metal Gear Solid, and I almost wish I hadn't, because I feel like some of the tricks that happened like during that Psycho Mantis fight, like I feel like that kind of detracted from the experience for me a little bit. Although Eternal Darkness did get me a few times, because I remember what was it? I think it was the save deletion thing, and then wasn't there something that would happen where you would hallucinate and like your character's head would just fall off? And I remember like it wasn't so much that I was like scared when that happened. I was like furious. I was like, there was nothing there, and then I realized it was just like, you know, the sanity meter messing with me. Fatal Frame, I have the Fatal Frames. I have toyed with the Fatal Frames. I don't know if I have the stomach to beat the Fatal Frames. And as I understand, I think Tark's Gauntlet did a review a while back of Fatal Frame 2. And if I was going to play one, that's the one I would probably do. And I feel like there's another like Japanese horror game that people told me was borderline gross, like really unnerving. What was that? Red Siren or something? I don't know, but it was one that I would be curious about. Also, I wouldn't mind having a copy of, what was it, Sweet Home? I think people made like fan translation carts of that. It was like one of the first horror games. I think it was on the NES, but it didn't get an American release. But as I understand, I think that was inspiration for Resident Evil later on or something. And I only learned about that game by watching Hidden Game Room's channel. Alien, there is no competition. Alien is also incredibly stressful. Like I didn't beat that one either. Like I played it with friends, and I think we got stuck in one part and just got frustrated. It wasn't so much like, oh, it's too scary to continue. I think I just got stuck somewhere and got really annoyed with it. Josh, you know you can't wait to play some more Friday the 13th with me. Of course I will play more Friday the 13th with you, because it is an absolute blast. More so with your friends. Like, playing with randos, it's not so fun, because randos will troll you. They'll do things just like leave you for dead, or, you know, they'll coordinate with their friends to lead Jason to you for murder. Josh says, okay, gotta go. Have a good one, man. Thanks for stopping by for a little bit. I will look up the cell shading on Persona and do a compare and contrast against Rad. And one says, I want to play Alien Isolation in VR. Aren't they doing that? Or I thought somebody did. Wait, hold on. Did they pass that in for PSVR? I could have sworn somebody... I know that I've read about somebody doing Alien Isolation in VR, but I think it was like a mod or something for PC using the Oculus. Maybe I don't think it was like an official VR mode. Oh, wait, no, wait, hold on. There's an article here. Unlock VR mode in Alien Isolation if you dare. But this is a 2-year-old article. Hold on. Oh, no, it was a mod. So this article is referring to something called Mother VR Mod that works with the original game, that would put Alien Isolation in VR mods if you really feel compelled to do so. E.T., what's up, man? Josh, find a co-op horror game and we'll play it together. Well, no, Man from Medan, man. Like, if Daniel doesn't get it and he's not down to play, I would be happy to play with you, Jacob. We already have some co-op multiplayer experience anyways when we beat A Way Out, which ended tragically for you, I should point out. Off topic, I am sick of YouTube Studio Beta. You are preaching to the choir, my friend. I do not like YouTube Studio Beta either. I'm really... And that's the thing, like, I tend to be an optimist, right? Or I at least try to have a balanced view on these sort of things. But... And I know that I'm going to be stuck with YouTube Studio Beta, and I think it's going to become the default experience, or permanently in, the next couple of months. And it just seems like... It's not that it's not pretty, but I don't go to that area of YouTube because I want something to look good. I want a really nuanced look at the data, and for some reason there's something about it where it just... Maybe it's just because I'm so ingrained with looking at things like real-time views or average watch duration and things like that. In the current YouTube studio, but beta is just not doing it for me. Like, I am with you on that. Hey, Pro Jaken, you play Friday the 13th. You should play. Yeah, get that, Jaken. We could do that immediately. Yes, I have been run over by camp counselors. Adrian, you're right. Oh, ET, I missed your first message, man. Hey, what's up? Hope the weekend was good. I finally got a cap of Alita Battle Angel from Target, which came with a USB wrist strap, which was a nice little addition. Phenomenal movie. I enjoyed it. It's not my favorite, but I enjoyed watching. Like, I didn't regret going to see Alita Battle Angel. It was fun. I don't know if it's going to do well enough to get a sequel, so that's kind of a bummer, but, you know, we'll see. Yeah, you're a backstabbing liar. What's up? Another game clip. Jaken, so hurtful. After you stole games from me? Savage. Thoughts on Alita Battle Angel? If you've seen it, I loved it, and the fact that I'm watching it again today. Yeah, again, I enjoyed it. If it gets a sequel, I think that would be cool, but... Oh, no, you're fine, man. No worries. I have Friday the 13th on PS4. I also have Friday the 13th on PS4, Jaken. I would be down to play that. I think I have it on PS4 and Xbox now that I think about it. I think I'm leveled up higher on Xbox. I think that's the one that I originally played on. So, again, out of those games, I'm just curious, like, if you could only pick one of those games to pick up in August, which one would it be? Between Astral Chain, Oninaki, Rad, Control, Blair Witch, or Man from Medan? Man of Medan? I can't remember the name of it. You know what I mean, though. The multiplayer one with Iceman. Probably Astral Chain. Yeah, I mean, it's just, there's so much hype around it. Like, it would be hard for me to ignore that title. But then again, I suppose, like, for you, it's a little bit more limited, right, Mario? Because you're like, I don't want to play some, super spooky game. So, out of those games, like, all of them are moderately spooky, with the exception of Astral Chain and Rad. Like, Oninaki has ghosts in it, so I could make an argument that's kind of a spooky game, even though maybe not in the traditional sense. Probably somewhere above Luigi's Mansion, but then underneath, certainly, Blair Witch in terms of spookiness. Astral Chain, what a ridiculous question. I take it you're pretty pumped for Astral Chain, Jaken. Like, I'll play if there's a multi, maybe, but I could watch someone play spooky, though. Wait. Maro, do you have Friday the 13th? Did you get that? That was because that was free on PlayStation Plus some months back, right? Like, that's not, I think everybody got that, and you get the free PlayStation Plus games, as I recall, don't you? Because if you have Friday the 13th, we should totally play that. That would be amazing. We play with Jaken and Not Another Game Collector, and Gamer Thumb TV. And then we'll stream the whole thing so the internet can hear your screams, Maro. Watch, I say that, and then we'll play a round of Friday the 13th, and you'll end up being Jason like 5 rounds in a row. If you do, you go after Adrian, because he deserves it. Chris says Dragon Quest Builders has skeletons and ghosts, so it's sort of spooky, at least to me. I'm glad you're enjoying it, man. See, Maro, Chris makes a sound argument. You played Dragon Quest Builders, and you were fine, and it's super spooky. They wanted to undo creation itself. How does it get more spooky than that? I got so much free PlayStation Plus, I'm sure I do have it. LOL, why would you do it? Because it would be outrageously entertaining. Are you kidding me? Everybody, like, and I mean, I think there were even some what was it? Didn't PewDiePie like make his sort of originally niche down into horror games before he expanded later on and became like, mega huge with his channel? Skeletons are my favorite in Dragon Quest. They're my favorite too, actually. They are absolutely hilarious. Well, I almost said something that would have spoiled something for Chris, but I won't. But you probably know what I'm talking about without even saying anything, Maro. Speaking of my favorite skeletons in that game. Josh, Yumi, and Jaken need to play Friday the 13th together. I'm 200% down for that. Honestly, if you guys want to play it later tonight, I would be down for it. I can't stream. I've got about 10 more minutes before I'm going to have to hop off here. But if you guys want to get together and play some tonight, I think that would be a lot of fun. I would be down. I get it, Josh. Thank you, Maro. Because that was one of my favorite moments in the game, too. Aside from the litany of high fives. Sam, what's up, man? How was band camp? Did you enjoy yourself? Sub-question, what instrument do you play at band camp? Or you could be a conductor or a teacher, for all I know. Yeah, on the subject of Dragon Quest Builders 2, though, I'm glad to have that game out of the way, the story part. Mainly because for me, the biggest draw was not like, I need to see this narrative wrap up, although I will say that narrative was deeper than it has any right to be. I just want to unlock all the building options, right? Like, they give you this giant sandbox of tools to play with, and they're like, well, you can get all the tools as long as you finish, a the story campaign. But then they don't tell you that story campaign is going to last you a solid 50 to 70 hours without breaking a sweat. And that's assuming you rush. Like, if you decide to stop and smell the roses, or just you know what, I'm going to take a break between this island and the next one, just kind of, chill in the Isle of Awakening, build up some nice little cottages or something. You see if I can recreate Hobbiton. You'll spend 100 hours in that game. No lie. It's such a long game. Control comes out on the 17th, and it seems a little similar to Quantum Break, which is very underrated. The inclusion of live TV episodes was a unique mechanic. I thought so too, although I will say it was not unique enough to hold my interest, and it continues to rot on my backlog. That was a game I actually started playing with Jason when he still lived here, and then after a while, he enjoyed it, but ultimately we were just we ended up watching something on Netflix instead, because we would hang out in the evenings and stuff after we both got off work. Trumpeting was from 8 to 5, also was good. Band camp, as I understand it, is no joke, right? Is it hot where you are, Sam? Because I'm imagining if you were doing a lot of band practice with a trumpet in 90-degree weather, that would be absolutely miserable. Just give me a time. Maybe closer to 9 or 10 tonight, if that sounds good to you. If Jaken's down, I would be interested. Did he say he was down? All of us while I kill you all. Adrian, you monster. Because that would absolutely be fun. Still down to play Dragon Quest Builders 2? I also am down to play Dragon Quest Builders 2, Mara. You tell me when and where, and we'll make it happen. Because I still need to build stuff on your island. My island is, it's getting there, right? I built 3 or 4 more little houses since the last time you were on my island. I'm just trying to make it look, and actually they're around the house that you built on my island to make it look a little bit more, just a little bit cheerier, right? I've tried to create more accommodating living spaces for all of the workers on my island who I otherwise berate constantly for not harvesting crops fast enough, or otherwise doing my bidding as their totalitarian overlord and cult leader. Let's not forget. It was nice, and I gotta go. Right on, man. We'll stop stop. Thanks for stopping by, Sam. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Oh, okay. So 9 o'clock my time, I think, will be 8 o'clock your time, right? Also, if anybody else in here wants to get in on some Friday the 13th action, my PSN and everything and all that information should be in the description below if you're curious. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna watch one of those horror trailers one more time just to make Maro uncomfortable. That, and I didn't really pay a lot of attention to the Blair Witch one. Let's take a closer look at that. Because I thought that did look pretty spooky, so I'm going to be quiet and just let this play out. I talked a lot over the last time.
Hey, I didn't think you'd call.
Yeah, well, how's the search going?
This is no longer just a missing person case, Jess.
You don't sound like yourself. You okay?
No, it's nothing.
Bullet, seek.
Just talk to me, please.
You heard the legend, right? About the witch?
Alice, you
Had
sure
to do
you're
it, Mom.
doing fine?
Jess, I swear, there's something really messed up going on in these woods.
Calm down. What did you see?
It's hard to explain. Memories? Bad memories.
What the hell? It looks terrifying.
Jess, you there? I think I'm starting to lose it. Jess? Jess?
I think that's going to be delightful. So Mara, I'm sure that's top of your list as well for the month of August. But I'm glad they just showed at least a little bit of the gameplay. Like it does, I hope it's not just purely a walking simulator, but maybe that is the best. And I think the developer behind Layers of Fear, which Layers of Fear, not my favorite horror game I've played. I'm actually still working through that with my buddy Ben. But I will say their ability to distort and manipulate an environment to kind of subvert your expectations and exploring it, they did a really good job with that. So if they bring even a fraction of that, that element of the gameplay over into Blair Witch, I think that's going to be something that's really, really nice. Apparently Josh has enough houses in Dragon Quest Builder they're thinking of naming the whole town after him, just saying, they don't really have a choice, right? I'm their leader. Jake, and if you're down, yeah, I agree with what Mara's saying. Why don't you stream Friday the 13th tonight, man? That's some original Resident Evil level voice acting. I know that's not a compliment. I like that you clarified original, not remake. I don't think it's Jill's Sandwich bad. I mean, it's, you know, not perfect maybe, but honestly, you know, Resident Evil was still a classic despite its corny voice acting. Some might even say because of it. In some ways, it really captured the essence of a schlocky, you know, B-movie horror while still being scary. I will say. Like the first time the dog happened, that was uncomfortable. You still want to play it? Well, I mean, if you love the Blair Witch movie, man, I don't know why you wouldn't play it. So, 9 my time, Adrian. And then if you or Jacob wants to stream it, that would be great. Or if you guys want to hop in, well, I guess we wouldn't need to hop in Discord if we're playing on PlayStation, but if you wanted to hop in Discord so it would be easier to stream our voices, because I think you would need the chat link cable to get voices otherwise in a party, that would be totally fine. So, anyways, yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Those are the 6 games that I'm most looking forward to. It was fun, even though it was a little darker than I would expect. Now watch, Halloween's going to roll around. It's going to be nothing but like super happy, cutesy games or something like that. It'll be, you know, thematically incorrect, I would say. But, you know, thank you guys so much for hanging out. Really appreciate it. If you are new here, if you're watching this after the fact, you know, the channel is YourPlayerTwo. Essentially what I do is I try to keep a balanced mix of gaming content just for fun, like this, but then also, you know, tips, tricks, strategy, and stuff for gaming channels that are looking to, you know, level up their game and, you know, make an impact on YouTube. So if that sounds like your thing, please consider subscribing. Very weird for me to do that kind of an outro, because I'm so used to doing a pre-produced video. But yeah, again, thanks for hanging out, guys. It's been a lot of fun, and I will catch you guys later. All right.